gold.
Nonsense.
The Golden God!
And he dragged you two into this nonsense?
I volunteered.
And her gold is not in her. She's a diamond under her. Wanna lay it down. I'll try my heart.
Dude, I haven't read a book in so long. I gotta just read a book. I was looking up like, they have like reading levels for books for like, yeah. And it was like, they were like, I forget what they said. They said if you can't read a 1,000 level book, you're a moron. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna read a 1,000 level book.
What's a 1,000 level book?
I don't know what.
I bet you it was like
Well, you know so you read all this like sci-fi, all this fantasy stuff. Let's go, boys. We don't got a lot of time.
Okay.
Let's pump it out. So you read like all this like fantasy shit, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So there's like that Aragon book, right? It's just the dragon on the front.
Yeah, no. I
I remember that shit. That was like kid fantasy, teenage kid fantasy.
So that's 1,000.
That was in the same.
That's 1,000.
That's 1,000.
That was in the same vein as Harry Potter and shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Then that's fairly easy. I just don't. The author Christopher Paolini. I just don't like his writing.
You don't like his writing?
Yeah, I tried to read his adult sci-fi To Sleep in a Sea of Stars.
Hold on,
and
wait. Are we recording?
We're on.
Okay, we gotta start the episode before you start any more talking time.
Okay.
Is it on me?
I don't know. This is another edition of the world's greatest podcast.
Universe.
I am your host. Sorry, multiverse. I am your host, Charles W. Reifenberger, and this is my co-host.
I am John A. Miller.
And this is Golden Nonsense.
Hell yeah.
Joining us today, highly esteemed guest, prolific fantasy reader.
Yeah.
Huh? We just started.
Mr. Tommy Oler.
We just started, yeah. Oh. Tommy Oler, my boy. Hell yeah. High five.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. You want to get my boy Joe on?
Yeah.
Let's get Joe on. Let's get
Also joining us today is Joe.
All right. Joe's we'll soon see.
We started with talking about fantasy novels.
Yeah, Tommy was just telling us about Aragon. Remember that fucking the teenage fantasy book?
Dragon book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've not read Aragon, but I did read Christopher Paolini's other book. Like I was saying, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars.
Maybe the reason that you don't like it is the reason that I will be able to actually read it.
Probably.
Because I'm a moron.
Well, the thing is, it's young adult.
Is it dragon like dragons like Game of Thrones dragons, or
No.
dragons as in how to train your dragon?
It leans more towards How to Train Your Dragon than Game of Thrones dragons. And I specifically love the Game of Thrones type dragon. Like my favorite fantasy author is Robin Hobb, and she can write dragons like nobody's business.
Oh yeah,
you believe that dragons are real when you read her stuff.
So what is it like? Like the dragons are big monsters that are untamable type shit.
No. So to give you the best example,
just test it. Just test it real quick.
Just talk.
Yeah, just keep on talking.
Yeah, I can hear myself now.
All right, can everybody hear him?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so Hobb.
Okay, so let me talk about George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
So the Game of Thrones guy. There is a chapter in A Dance of Dragons. Spoiler alert, this isn't even in the books, in the show at all. This character isn't even in the show at all. They cut his whole entire arc out.
Okay.
But it's a kid named Quentin Martell. He's gone to see Daenerys. And he's like, I want to marry her.
He's kin of the other Martell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a political play, they have sent him to Meereen to marry Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
She has her own stuff, and she realizes, she literally, in the books, she's like 15. But she sees this other 15-year-old, and like, she can tell he hasn't lived. Like, she's been a slave. Yeah.
He's bitch made.
Right. Yes, exactly. So she takes him.
Yeah,
and
women can smell that.
Yeah,
if you got big balls or not.
She shows him her dragons.
Yeah,
and he freaks out. She's mother of dragons. She's not freaked out by these dragons at all. And then later in the book, he's like, I have to prove myself to her because she can tell I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go steal a dragon. So he hires a mercenary company to go steal a dragon, and it goes so bad. These dragons have been put in this pit, and when people go in there, the only thing they know is when people come in here, we get fed. And they come in there, with a big wagon, and the way they've always been fed is they come in there with a big wagon of sheep, and they feed them. And these guys come in there with a wagon to strap the dragons to it. But instead of a bunch of people on there, a bunch of sheep on there, there's just a bunch of people on the wagon. And the dragons like go nuts. And the way he describes it, I read the chapter out loud to Haley because it was so good. I was like, listen to this. And he's
fucking
trying
nerd.
Yeah, the dragons are going bonkers, fighting, and then he's trying to tame one. He has a whip. And then he's trying to fight one that's fighting his friends, and then one of his
these are small dragons, I'm assuming, because they're
medium-sized dragons.
Okay.
They're not as big yet as they get on the show.
Okay.
But one of his mercenary company men.
They're not her dragons.
They are her dragons.
They are hers.
They are hers.
So
There's only 3.
He's gonna impress this bitch by stealing her shit.
Exactly. It's a bad
It's not a
idea
very good
through and
move.
through.
I mean,
retarded.
Sounds like a jackass to me.
I mean,
fucking
seriously.
retarded.
But what happens is one of the guys he hires for the mercenary company goes like, behind you. She has 3 dragons, and they've been fighting one the entire time. One is out flying around, not in the pit. He turns around and goes, "Oh," and that's his last words. The dragon just fire blows all over him, and then he's like, his last thought was Rhaegal. It's the green one. And that's the last thing he knows before he's burned alive. And that's a point of view chapter. You're reading this 15-year-old boy die.
Damn.
Yo, that's awesome, bro. And look, you're telling Charlie he needs to read something like that?
Oh, well, if you want Aragon, that's fine. But I'm
I feel like
telling
Aragon
you,
is like fucking Dragon Tales of all
but
that.
I would actually recommend starting there. Because Game of Thrones is the Song of Ice and Fire series is so good that I think it's good if you read it at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can fully appreciate how good it is
Until you read some other
until you read other fantasy. Because you will read the way George R. R. Martin writes. He's such a good writer that you're like, no.
A lot of folks are biting his style, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah. I've heard.
It's so good the way he describes things, the way he describes action. You're just enthralled the entire time.
Have y'all watched the show? The fucking House of the Dragon?
No, I haven't even finished Game of Thrones.
Why haven't you, bro?
I don't know. I think I quit it like when it was at the peak. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's the best part." I literally stopped watching when she like lit up all those merchants in the bay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like that's the best it got.
Battle
It
of
just got
Blackwater?
worse after
Yeah.
that.
No.
That's you talking about when she was when she went to the fucking city and the fucking wizards and shit, and then
That's second season.
That's second season.
Yeah. He's talking
This
about
was
like
5 or
yeah.
6.
You're talking about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But the thing is with that is that right the last book, the very last book ends right before that.
Yeah.
The very last book ends with her. Like the show takes some pieces in and out, but the very last book ends with that battle happening.
Yeah.
But she's not there. Her dragons are flying around, and Daenerys has been lifted out of the slave pit and been taken by the Dothraki.
Okay.
That happened, I think, the season before, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait,
But
the very end of Game of Thrones,
The books.
the very end of Game of Thrones, the TV show,
Yes.
right, where the fucking Ice King attacks and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That hasn't been written yet by George R. R. Martin.
No.
It has been creatively made up by the showrunners.
Right. So George R. R. Martin told them there's only 3 things that are for sure to happen in the books that you guys know about. Then they made up everything else. One is the Hodor moment where he says hold the door.
Okay.
The one with who's going to end up on the Iron Throne,
Which is Bran. Okay.
and then there's another. What's the other thing? Oh, Daenerys going crazy and burning King's Landing.
And killing the city.
Yeah, that's the only 3 things. But in the show, everybody's like, "Well, you didn't earn it." You're absolutely right. Whenever like there's more seeds in the books already with Daenerys going crazy than there was ever in the show because they didn't do any of that stuff until the last season.
So she has the tint of madness that her grandfather had.
Right.
They're all inbred. All of them are fucking.
Yeah, they're inbred.
Inbred royals with a nuke on a plane.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And the crazy thing about it too is that not every Targaryen has madness, but they do get like what's called dragon dreams, where they see the future, see parts of the future.
Oh wow!
And that's the thing, you don't know who's mad until they've gone mad, because they can all think that they're crazy because they're seeing bits and pieces of the future. But the one of the major themes of the series is you can't trust
a Targaryen.
You can't trust prophecy. You can't trust if someone tells you this is going to happen, it will never happen the way you think, and what they're telling you is going to happen, you actually don't understand. It's probably something that may have already happened.
May
happen deep into the future.
So what's the example of that?
Okay. So there is in the books. Hold on.
It's like it's kind of almost like fucking Oedipus or some shit, right? It's like the future, but like in trying to prevent the future.
Oedipus is told that he will kill his father and fuck his mother, right?
Yes.
And then he's just like, bullshit. And then eventually,
Yeah. And
I think it's his dad goes to the Oracle, and the Oracle tells him your son will
kill you, and
displace you, and marry your wife.
Wow.
And he orphans his own son.
Right? Yeah.
But in doing so, his son doesn't know his father, and he comes and he kills him and
takes
fucks his mom.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, whenever you're reading that, especially as a younger person, whenever you read like a prophecy like that, you're thinking, oh, this is going to happen like back to back, like all within like a week or so.
Right.
And then whenever you read it, you realize this has been going on the entire time. Like this lady's been his mom the whole entire time, or that guy he killed was his dad.
Okay, all right. Look, this is a golden nonsense a House of Dragon exclusive. Okay, give me a motherfucking prophecy that in the books that's like so forlorn that we can't see it until it happens.
Okay, so Daenerys goes to the house like with all the magi, and she sees a bunch of visions, and one of the visions she sees is a man with a wolf's head. Like having at a feast, and she's just like walking by a room and she sees it in there. She's like, whatever. And then she sees a bunch of
like
other,
Eyes Wide Shut. It's like an Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah,
moment.
she sees a bunch of other stuff.
So that's a vision, or she actually sees it.
It's like you can't tell. Like she's been drinking this thing, and it may be a hallucination, but magic is also back. It's kind of illusory. You don't know.
Okay.
So you can make up your mind. Really, I think she actually sees it. She actually can see visions and stuff. And this is in the second book, and then in the third book,
the man with the wolf head is Rob.
The Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know he dies, and later. In the Arya Stark chapter, she sees that they've cut off his wolf's head and cut off his head and sewed it onto his body, and they're trotting him around. And the feast he was at the feast he died at,
right?
The Red Wedding,
right?
And that's whenever you're like, oh, that was that.
That was that. Yeah,
that was that. That's what I saw. That's what Daenerys saw.
And it had nothing to do with Daenerys. It just happened somewhere.
She just saw it. She didn't know what it means. She still doesn't know what it means. In the book, she still doesn't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
She just saw something. It was
damn.
Yeah, that was good fucking writing. That's good writing.
That shit was so fucking brutal, bro.
Dude,
oh my fucking god.
Oh, cut the baby.
My mom was damn near in fucking tears.
Right, cry. Any woman I watch that show with cries at that same exact part.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they cut the baby out. Yes.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have fucking reneged.
When he stabs her, I was like, oh my gosh. And then he lifts it up and does it again. I was like, oh god. He just boom, 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 like multiple stabs in her stomach. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Him and his mom were fucking idiots for even attempting to do that. Like he had already fucking consummated another marriage, and then you want to try and go in and try to trick this man who's like the ultimate fucking
he wasn't.
Yeah, like
He wasn't trying to trick. He was trying to make right. The only thing Rob was his father's son so much so that
he was too honest.
He thought honor and like being honorable would get him far in life. But one of the themes of the series,
honor gets you killed,
is that it's not even that. Is that war kills good people. So what's left after that? And it's a world left with bad people who can now write history.
Right.
So it's really like, if you look at the greater themes, it's like, why do we fight when all the good people just end up losing? We need not fight as often.
Yeah.
And then there's the overall theme of climate change with winter is coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something to be said about like honor is a privilege.
Right.
Being an honorable man is a privilege.
Yeah.
And it's only a privilege if you're insulated with enough power and resources.
Yeah.
Because like that's
or if you're willing to pay whatever cost it costs to be an honorable man.
What does that even mean though?
But no. Here's what it means is that why do we let ourselves live in a world where honor is a privilege? That's what the whole entire series, that's one of the questions it asks, is why do we let someone like Eddard Stark and Robb get killed? Like, why can we not uphold honorable things?
Here's my question.
And
right?
people will be like, Robb was an idiot, but that's only taking the surface level thing, because yes, you're right, Robb was an idiot, but let's look at the world in which Robb exists that makes him an idiot when ultimately he's a good person.
He was raised he was raised in a household like that.
Yeah, but also his father wasn't. His father was more. So I felt like Eddard Stark fucking died just because he was trying to prove to his children that being honorable is something that you should fucking do, when not realizing like,
yo, he had two or three outs. What's it called? Yeah. Baratheon gave him an out. He was like, yo, call off your bitch wife.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we've had our fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you have a thing that you don't want to let go, but let it go. I'm going to go hunting. And all falls apart right then and there.
Yeah. But you got to remember, he reneged on all that. He took the out. They told him, you recant, you lie in front of everybody and tell everybody that you tried to have Joffrey usurped, and we'll send you to the wall. Right before he gets his head chopped off, he said, I betrayed my king. I did all this. I did all that. I was wrong. I put my kid in danger. I did this. And then Joffrey, like, you know, his mom, the queen, says, all right, now Eddard can take the black. And she looks at Joffrey, and Joffrey goes like, my mom says he should take the black, and I agree with her partially, but I don't have the soft heart of women. Ilyn Payne, take his head and cuts his head right off immediately.
Right.
And then Tyrion comes in there the next book and goes like, why the fuck did you all do that?
But see,
you got us in this mess because you took his head.
At that point in the show, he had been separated from his fucking kids.
Exactly.
His wife, he didn't know where they were. So that was just
him trying
to
Hail Mary to get out of it.
Yeah, to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also knew, I mean, yes, you're right, but he also knew taking the black is also an honorable thing.
Right.
He can take the black. He can live.
He can have his own.
It ultimately, like,
bankruptcy.
It smooths everything out. I made all these mistakes. I gotta figure out a way to clean this up.
Right.
You know? And so he did what he wanted to do as a man.
Let me ask you this, Tommy.
Okay.
Since you're the authority here with all the fantasy, right? This is Golden Nonsense exclusive. Okay, I'm glad you're here, Joe, because you're a nerd with this shit too.
Yeah,
right. So, in the sense that the backstory with the Starks are set up, whereas like these, was it 4 kids or whatever? These 4 kids are all like strewn about in the world with the teachings of Ed Stark and their mother, right? Mm-hmm. Be a good person, try to hold each other down, you know what I'm saying? Your family's all you got, blah, blah, blah. These are all honorable, like every person agrees with, right? There's no person I can think of that disagrees with the family motifs of the Starks, right? But you send them out into the world where you said, all the good men have been killed, and we've been insulated in the North, right? It's like not everybody is like my brother and my dad and whatever, right? Like not everybody, but they don't know that because they're royalty and they don't have the luxury of real world experiences, right? They're insulated from that shit, so their honor is actually skewed, right? Which is like it could be like unintelligence or folly or whatever. But like when Ned is doing his fucking studying and figures out that there's a what is it called, that the king's kids is not his
genealogy,
right?
Yeah, with the king's kids is not his
genealogical records,
right?
At that point, he's so honorable, he's stupid. That right there, he's like, you should tell.
I'll tell you why he's like that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the last war, he saw what the Lannisters did with the last king's kids. They literally took the babies and smashed their head up against the wall. And he knew that if he tells Joffrey, Robert found out, that was going to happen again. Ned Stark does not want to see kids get killed.
He wants to stop that?
He wants to stop that.
But what is telling going to do besides that?
He wants to hold the realm together. That's like...
he goes... Yeah.
He's a fucking idiot.
He goes to Queen Cersei. He goes to Queen Cersei and makes the biggest mistake and says, listen, because... He makes the biggest mistake because he doesn't want to see her kids get killed.
Right. So
that's why.
So he's trying to appeal to her motherly.
Exactly.
But no, she's more power hungry than she is a mother.
She wants to keep what she has. And he goes, listen, get your kids out of here. I'm going to tell Robert. He basically says, I don't want to see him killed.
And retarded, bro.
But look. Is that wrong?
It's not wrong.
It's the Game of Thrones. Yes, it's absolutely fucking wrong.
But look,
here's wrong.
Here's why it's wrong. Because we argued this before in the car.
Yeah.
Remember this, right? Okay, Robb is trained by the last hand of the king, right? He's like the fucking protege of the last hand of the king, right? He's
Robert Baratheon. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, not Robb. Ned.
Ned. Yes.
Right. He's the last protege, and so during the killing of the Mad King, the changing of the guard, right? You kill the Mad King. What's my boy's name? Rhaegar, right?
Yeah.
Right. He goes and steals my boy's sister, right? In love, and then causes this whole war to happen, right?
Yeah.
So he's a veteran. He's a veteran of a changing of the guards and war.
Yeah.
And his heart is so soft that in the realities of war, he killed men. Him and his homies killed.
Yeah, they killed. Yeah.
Him and his homies killed men. He took fathers away from their families, right? Because of honor. My sister got took. I can't let this shit happen. My boy is the rightful husband to my sister, right?
Yeah.
These are all things where honor makes sense. But the moment you leave the battlefield as a soldier, those things don't matter no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, me and my boy took over the fucking kingdom. Now he's king. I'm his homie. I'm chilling in the north, right? He calls me down. Now I'm his right hand. His wife is cheating on him. You don't go tell the wife.
Yeah, you go.
That's every homie rule. What do you tell the homie?
You tell the homie.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm not arguing about that. I'm talking about, would you go kill those children? Would you go kill those children? Would you have those children killed and watch it happen?
I'd have them killed. I wouldn't watch it.
That's the thing.
Well,
that's wrong. Because those kids,
would you do it?
No, those kids did all they did was be born.
You're right,
that's
bro.
all
they
but
did.
they're also going
I
to be
think
born and brought up into a fucking
Yeah.
fucked up ass family, and they're going to continue doing the same fucking things.
And you think that murdering them makes that better instead of maybe giving them the chance to break the cycle.
Really, that's Rob's choice. Rob could without
Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, without telling Rob, who has the ultimate authority here.
Yeah.
He could not have those bastard children killed. Right? He could kill the mother and the father and banish the children. He could do whatever is the most silver lining thing.
Yeah.
But the most fucked up part is You skip telling your homie? Like, I don't. That right there
And the whole
is.
time, like, he could have just killed Cersei, killed Jaime, and fucking raised the kids.
Yes,
as his fucking own.
He could have done all that, but he wanted to give those kids their mother and a chance. He did not know. Now, you got to remember, you guys are all talking with hindsight.
Right.
He did not know the lengths that Cersei would go to get rid of him, and also, Cersei didn't have him killed. That was Joffrey.
Right?
Cersei gave him an out, and he took it.
Well, that was after Rob dies, right? So
Yes.
it's a fucking tit for tat. Like,
Yeah, she was playing the Game of Thrones correctly. He realized I've been beat. He decides to taken out. But the boy, that's the irony of the whole entire thing.
Right.
The boy
the same
he tried to
say-
protect. The boy he tried to protect took his head off.
This motif is in
That's why it's so
this
good.
motif is in a different movie, like it's an American, like a war movie, where it's like this fucking these 5 army special forces dudes are trying to like infiltrate Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
They run across this fucking like boy goat herder.
Yeah.
And then like 4 of them are like, "Yo, he's gonna go back and tell the fucking like the enemy. We know
Right.
he is.
Right.
We gotta either tie him up or murk him." It's like, if we tie him up, he's gonna die out here. He's gonna be 3 days. We're not gonna come back for him. We know it, right? We all know it. What do you do? And the leader's like, "We gotta let him go. He's a kid." And what happens? That same boy goes and tells, and now they're fucking swamped with 700 militiamen hunting them down, and there's only 10 of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's unfortunate, but like the unmoral answer is the right answer.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes.
No.
Okay, Charlie.
I don't think that was the moral answer.
Okay,
I don't think not telling your friend that he's getting cheated on is morally correct. I don't think that other people taking that information and doing and acting immorally, it can be put on your hands.
Yeah, but at the cost of your head.
I mean, we're so here's the thing. We're talking about fucking moral compass. We're talking about our moral compass versus the Game of Thrones universe moral compass. Like, it's 2 different fucking worlds.
I don't know.
When we do that here now,
I think morality is universal.
I don't.
The thing is,
no, it's not. It's definitely not.
I think it is.
Look, here's the thing. What you're talking about. What Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire is looking at is the world in which we put ourselves to make those choices. You remember, they're at war fighting. They've come across a boy. They have to kill the boy if they want to live later.
Right.
That shouldn't be a choice.
Right. How did
we
you
have
get there?
to make.
How did you get there in the first place?
We need to look at the choices we're making so we don't have our soldiers or our people or just anyone in general have to make the choice to kill a child.
I agree, Tommy.
But
that's
yeah.
a moral.
I mean,
that's a moral superiority position that is always idealism,
I was
right?
gonna say,
Exactly.
it's unrealistic. It's not.
Yeah, you never
it's-
get there, but that should be the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's the goal with
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie. All right, Charlie. Do you tell Robert
Yes.
that you tell him?
Yeah.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
you tell him expeditiously, or do you fucking wait around and tell his power-hungry wife that I know that
who's plotting and scheming?
Right.
You know what type of bitch she is.
She pushed. No. Who pushed the boy out the window?
Fucking
Jamie.
Jamie pushed the boy out
Yeah.
the window. So it's like, come on, dog. Like we like. I know you don't know this, but you have to like understand that there are forces at play that even they don't play by your rules.
Yeah.
So if you even want to be a moral person, you have to be just as cunning as your enemy and still play better than them in that. Because look, if that situation was flipped, right, and Ned and Rob are standing at some the gallows with their now ex-wife and the children or whatever, right? He's like, you know what? I want to, because as a king now he can exercise mercy. Ned did the right thing,
Right.
And he's like, you know what? Jaime Lannister dies. The wife is going to a whorehouse, and all the kids are going to the black. Right? That's the only way that goes, or whatever.
right.
But
Yeah.
it's like you don't give Rob the choice. It's not Ned's choice. Ned is like, I'm the superior high ground. Like I'm on the moral superior high ground. That is not your choice to make. And it's like that is the whole problem with the show. Well, not the whole problem, but it's like that adds. We're talking about it now, years later.
Controversy.
Yeah. And it's like last night, right? Like I watched the fucking episode last night of the new episode of the
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
season.
Right.
You saw it?
Son for a son.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, that shit.
So
Okay, spoiler alert. If you
I
haven't seen,
haven't seen it. Don't tell
you
me.
haven't seen it?
Fuck.
Don't tell me.
Fuck.
Don't tell me
Oh,
anything.
okay.
What's
I mean,
the base? What's the underlying idea?
Unfortunately, that there's an eye for an eye situation happening.
Yeah.
Right. And Tommy, you should know this, right?
Yeah,
you read these books?
you know.
Well, I haven't
watch
read Fire and Blood, but the thing is, in the first 10 pages of Game of Thrones, it tells you how the Dance of Dragons. You know who wins,
Right.
But you don't. It doesn't tell you all the ins and out of how it gets there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you haven't even seen the first season.
I've seen the first season.
Okay,
I just haven't seen the first episode of the second season.
So at the end of the first season, fucking what's the
Aemon kills the
nephew? Yeah.
his cousin.
Right.
Yeah, I've
So,
seen that.
some shit happens to where.
Hey, are you about to tell me stuff that in the first?
Yeah,
don't tell me anything.
Don't tell him.
Look, I know it's dastardly, and
I think it's
the cliffhanger that they left on the last season is kind of like the cliffhanger from the first episode.
Okay.
Like it's gonna leave you like
What the fuck?
Like what the fuck?
Yeah. How does this super bad thing that just happened affect the rest of this shit?
Yeah, no, I think Tommy was approaching something there when he was like, the point is like, how did you get in that situation where that was the decision you were having to make?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I saw this new movie, this new Civil War movie. Anybody see that one?
Civil
War.
War.
It's pretty good actually.
What is it?
It's it's just like it's a movie about like an American Civil War.
It's called Civil War.
It's
right?
called Civil War.
Yeah.
And these guys, the main characters, they're all journalists, so they're not really involved. They're kind of like just like reporting on shit and taking pictures and following people around. And they get to this one spot, and there's just these guys on the. First their car's getting shot, and so they just like they get out and they get down, and there's a fucking sniper and a spotter like outside on the ground, like where they're hiding, and they're just like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?"
Oh, this is a modern Civil War.
Yeah, it's like now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he's like, "There's a guy in that building." And they're like, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "I just can't quite see him." They're like, "Okay." And he's just the other guy starts shooting some more. They're like, "Fuck!" They're like, "Who? What side are you guys on? Who's that?" And they're like, "There's a guy in that building. We're trying to kill him. He's trying to kill us." The other guy's like, "Is he with the IRA? Is he with
matter.
him?" He goes, do you not understand what I'm telling you?
What the fuck is happening?
I'm a guy. He's a guy. He's trying to kill me. So therefore, I have to kill him, and then they shoot him, they just get in the car and drive away. There's like no idea who was who or what was going on. It was just chaos. That's kind of the picture they paint in the movie. But it's just like, yeah, in a certain situation, sometimes you just get in the situation where that guy's there, he's trying to kill me.
Circumstances.
I have to kill him.
No. Like, shit happens.
And I find that like juxtaposition with like this is like guns versus like fantasy, right? Like you have certain people with the kill button, which is like a dragon. I'm gonna go and just fly and murder everybody, right? Or you same side of the same coin. Now in the modern age, right? Any man could be the executioner. Right, any man could pull the blicky and blast you away. Right, and so the morals of violence has never left our world as being men anyway. Right, it's in a fantasy situation or even in a real situation. You always pick your life versus the moral high ground.
Yeah,
because then you can tell your story. Then you can be a good man later. Mm-hmm. You can't be a good man dead. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's that's the tough choice, but it is the choice.
Unless it's something worth dying for, you know?
Well, no, you know the fucking adage where it's like, it's not my job to die for my country. It's my job to make sure you die for yours. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like we got to make it back, bro.
So let me pose this question. So just say for instance, all right,
but the really fucked up thing is when it's my job to make you die for our country. That's the really bad one.
Yeah.
Because I'm not supposed to die for this country. You guys all need to die for this country so that I can live for this country.
Right.
What's the question, Joe?
So, if Ned had never taken the fucking, gone to fucking King's Landing and been the fucking king's hand, and he allowed Cersei and the fucking Lannisters ultimately like to take the fucking throne. How do you think the situation would have turned out? Like
he would have found out somehow. I mean, look, if he hadn't gone, Robert would have been killed way earlier.
You think so?
Yeah, they
were plotting.
They
to kill
were
him
constantly
anyway.
plotting to kill him.
Yeah.
I mean,
How so? I don't remember.
They were already getting him drunk so he would have an accident of some sort.
Yep.
And that's how he died. Like they got him so drunk, a boar gored him.
Right.
And then it's like, well, it was an accident. And, you know, she was already sleeping with her brother. He was already out whoring all over the place. He's got, like, part of the book is Ned finding all of his bastards or stories about how Cersei has killed his other children.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's all part of it. So she's going out there making sure the succession is strong for her children, and so that way he never finds out. But Cersei is also, she wants what she wants. She's weak in the ways of the heart, and she loves her children more than anything, but she needs to get plowed by Jaime every now and again. And
That is so fucking crazy.
and
they're not twin brothers, right? I mean, they're not twins.
Yeah,
they
are
are
twins.
twins.
Yeah,
They are
twins.
twins.
That is so fucking bizarre.
and that's
I was
that's
watching
a big
this,
part of it.
I was watching this guy. His name's Dr. Sapolsky. He's a Stanford behavioral psychologist, and he was saying that you're actually not supposed to be attracted to your biology will prevent you from being attracted to your siblings. That's why it's so weird to us, because like you're literally like you will tell your body will tell you not to fuck your own siblings, but you're actually supposed to be pretty attracted to your cousins. That like not very far
That's
out.
why they call them cousin
Yeah,
fuckers.
not very far out. Like the genetic, reproductive, just drive to pass on your DNA overcomes the genetic mutation
of fucking someone too
of
close.
fucking somebody that's too closely related to you. And that's why you're actually programmed to, like, people that are like second cousin, like you're supposed to think your second cousins are hot.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But
I
you're
don't know.
supposed to, but your biology will tell you not to fuck your siblings.
Let's. I hope they never study the science on that ever again. I hope they fucking deplete that from all fucking shit. Cause
It's. I mean, look. It seems
no one needs to know more about that.
it seems motherfuckers be fucking their cousins though. I don't know,
Dude, that's some good shit, dude. All of those dudes
You fucked your cousin?
lectures are on YouTube. No,
said, no, that's some good
Sapolsky.
shit.
Robert
Sapolsky.
Sapolsky.
Sapolsky fucked his cousin. He's like, yo,
It's normal to want to fuck your cousin.
Normally,
he's got like pre-com coming out just talking about it. You see his pants get like a wet spot.
Yo, George R. Martin was the fucking weirdo that wanted to fuck his sister. It was like, yo, Jaime Lannister, dashing, savior of the realm, fucks his sister.
The thing is too is that, like, Cersei wanted Rhaegar Targaryen so bad, and you don't get this until you reread it, but Rhaegar, when he died, he was in all black armor that had rubies.
Right, the chest plate was exploded everywhere.
And so
in the river.
whenever he got hit, rubies went over and all in the river, and they call it the Ruby Ford. So after Robert dies, she attends his funeral in a black dress with rubies all over it.
Oh fuck!
And it's not commented on. It's just a description of her. And later, whenever you reread it, you're like, "Oh my god!" She was making a statement.
Yeah,
she's dressing up as Rhaegar at Robert's funeral.
What the fuck?
Yo, but so
she's a dirty fucking bitch. Man. Oh my god,
she
she's one of
was
the worst characters
she was
ever.
just like is that story where the killing of the Mad King and Rob and Ned's war, is that ever like detailed, or is it just like all in hindsight? It's all like mentioned. It's never.
It's all mentioned, and there are memories of it and stuff like like the war with Rhaegar and all that. Yeah. That's deep history they continually talk about, and you find out more and more stuff as the show goes on. And the thing is too, like, so how Jon Snow, his father is Rhaegar.
Yeah.
And his
Wait, what?
He's a black haired Targaryen.
Yeah. And
I thought. Wait,
Jon Snow is supposed to be the bastard
of Ned.
Of Ned.
Yeah,
but
no,
it was okay.
It was a Targaryen fucking
Rhaegar kidnaps Ned's sister when she was married to Robert. That's why Robb starts the war.
Starts the war, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
She's pregnant with Jon Snow. So when Ned Stark tells that story about how he bested those two great swordsmen, right? He lies because Brandon finds out he lies, and he kind of like he sneaks the kill or some shit. Like he barely wins, and his sister dies in childbirth, and she's like, "Please, Ned, right? Don't tell nobody." And her dying wish is for her brother to protect.
Yeah.
Her kid, because
he knows
that
if Robert Baratheon finds out Jon Snow is Rhaegar's son, he will kill him because is the rightful heir to the throne.
Right. Wow.
So the thing is, and the thing is too is when you read the first when you reread the first Game of Thrones, knowing this, and you see the way that
the stepmom treats her.
No. You see the way that Ned thinks when he thinks about Jon. So he thinks as a real person would think. He's not obviously thinking Rhaegar is Jon's father. It's already deep knowledge for him. He doesn't need to think that. But every time he thinks of Jon, he also remembers something about Rhaegar. So it's never outwardly stated until you know that. You're like, oh my gosh, every time he thinks of Jon Snow, he remembers something about his sister. He remembers something about Rhaegar. He's like,
oh, it's like in the same vein.
Wow.
Yeah. Jon is so swift.
Fucking crazy.
As swift as Rhaegar was.
Is that not incredible writing?
It's incredible writing.
It's incredible writing, and you're sitting there like, oh my God! You
now
never
I gotta
know
fucking
it.
read the books, man. I was a fucking huge fan of the show. And
we gotta name this episode "The House of Dragons."
House of Dragons.
Joe and Tommy.
How do you write it in reverse? Do you have to write the whole book in reverse?
No, he doesn't write it in reverse. The reason he takes so long is because he's coming up with the deep history and for every single character. All these characters, that's what makes them so good.
They have a whole different story.
Read any fantasy series, read any book, then read Game of Thrones, and you will be like, these are real people.
Yeah,
they think like real people, they act like real people, and Ned is so traumatized at having seen children killed, he makes mistakes. He makes real life mistakes because even though he doesn't like Cersei, he doesn't want to see another child's brains dashed up against the wall.
I guess you're right, because look, you're just out in the field, right? You and your boy kicking ass, taking names. You finish the fight, right?
Yeah.
And then you go back to the castle and you see just blonde-haired bastards just smashing babies against the wall.
Yeah.
And it's not just one. It's a lot of them.
It's three children you see killed. And you know that the wife was murdered and then her corpse raped. And they're like right there. And then you see the man that did it and he's proud of it. And that's the side you're on.
Yeah.
Who was that, Jamie?
That was the Mountain. The Mountain literally killed the children, then raped the Martell girl, Elia.
Who gave the order?
Say her name. You raped her. You murdered her. Say her name.
Okay.
That's tough. The Viper, the Mountain and the Viper. That's my favorite episode.
Wow.
Those two episodes were like, it's like I can anticipate some good shit happening.
The Mountain and the Viper is my favorite episode.
When you read the chapter, even reading it, you're still, even knowing how it ends, you're on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh my God, because it is the fight is written so well, and both fighters are really smart. And then it opens with the Viper coming up to the Mountain, and the Mountain in the books, he has like a brain tumor. He's constantly he's angry. He's constantly have blinding headaches.
Right.
And the Viper goes up to him when they meet in the ring, and he goes, "Do you know who I am?" And the Mountain says, "Some dead man." He doesn't give a shit.
He don't give a shit. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
He's been told, "I have to kill you, so I'm going to kill you." And he's got a blinding headache, and he's just swinging wildly but he's extremely fast, extremely big. He's got plate armor that's like 3 inches thick,
Right.
because he's such a big guy.
He can't be cut.
You can't cut him, and
Right.
you have to find some like just the joint somewhere.
Yeah.
And the one person that could possibly beat him is the Viper. Is right there, and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And he finds out who he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just the fucking arrogance.
Oh my God.
Get
That
the
was-
win.
no,
that is the
no,
most
that's it, yeah.
It was so aggravating. I was yelling at the TV. It was a watch party at
Oh,
UT,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
I was yelling at the TV. Get the win. Don't.
But he needed the mountain to say, "Tell me, it was this man that told you to kill my sister,
right.
and her children."
Well, why? But that was just a personal thing.
That
he,
was
he already knew. He already knew, though.
absolutely, yeah.
But he already knew.
He already knew. But the thing is, if he can get the mountain to admit it, then they have a larger claim. They can be like, listen, now
the assassin told me.
yeah.
The assassin
Look,
told me. On his
I've got
deathbed, the
this,
assassin told
and
me.
now I need justice. Not only does the mountain die, but Tywin Lannister
Lannister
dies.
dies, yeah.
The house of
Yeah.
Lannister falls.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what he wanted. And he thought he had him beat. Everybody thought he had him beat, but the mountain is the mountain. And it's
and now he's a zombie. And then it was crazy. They wrote that shit. The zombie shit is stupid.
that's in the books.
I know it is, but I'm
Yeah.
just like,
But the thing is, in the books takes the magic more seriously than the show did.
oh yeah.
You're like when dragons come back, magic comes back. And when you're reading the books, you're seeing like magical things start to happen,
Yeah.
and everybody in the world is like, "Is it back? Are things happening again?" And because dragons represent magic and all that stuff coming back into the world
How long has it been gone? Because I know
since the last dragons died.
which
then-
what does that ever explain? Like,
The last dragons die in the House of Dragon.
Yeah.
You'll see the last dragons die.
And that's where the fucking eggs and shit come in
Yeah.
at the beginning of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
There's
right
only
there.
3
Oh,
eggs
that's
left.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. They're motherfucking.
Yeah, the Dance of Dragons was the final thing, and then dragons still exist afterwards, but they disappear.
They're not domesticated. They're fucking in
Yeah,
a cave
and then
somewhere.
and because that's not that, they kind of like fade out of existence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
yeah. And then
Damn.
magic leaves the world until Daenerys Targaryen.
Okay, so the whole Night King and the return of the ice zombies, that's not explained yet. That's taking liberties.
That's so in this. Oh fuck! I can't talk about it, bro. Did you watch it? We'll talk about it afterwards. But
We're
they
gonna
talk
have to,
that
we're gonna
they
have to
talk about
check
that
in
in the.
periodically.
They talk
this
about
is gonna
that
turn
shit.
into a Game of Thrones podcast.
Nah,
I
Oh
think.
well, no,
shit's crazy.
no. Look, we could just have a series on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we can call this House of Dragon episode
Listen,
1.
House of
that's
Dragons
that's
episode
why
one.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Because even just talking about that stuff, you're like, what? This is so cool.
I mean, I'm thinking right now, like, I got to read these books. I'm not going to because I'm a moron.
Yo,
but,
okay. Look, let me ask you this real quick, Tommy,
Yeah.
because you might know the lore of winter coming and like the dark night, like the long winter, right?
Yeah,
It's like that shit is happening. That's pre House of Dragon, right? Because they're like, yo, winter is it's not even cold yet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
at that point they had already built the fucking 700-foot wall, right? Yeah.
So, no, you're partially there. So,
Okay.
the world has years worth of seasons. So, whenever they say "you sweet summer child,"
Right. Oh,
So-
you were born in like the 10-year span. The
yeah,
winter was-
you're born in a 10-year span of summer. Then there's like a 10-year span of fall, and then there's like a 20-year span of winter. So that's what they mean when winter is coming.
So what's the theory on what?
Why that happened?
Yeah.
There, some magical event deep in the past happened. It's not explained. All you know is like something happened and it made the seasons last a long time. They don't know why.
The lore behind the wall and the black, right? That's explained. Whereas, like, we need to keep these people back there.
Yeah.
We remember. The people
Yeah.
on the wall remember, right? We have
Yeah.
a job.
Yeah.
They're ignorant. They're trained. Everyone remembers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they know that
Their job is important.
that death lies in the north.
beyond the wall, yeah.
And the wall is I don't know what they here all I know is that dragons can't even go past the wall.
So I'm glad you said that. I can say this part about the episode that I watched,
Yeah.
the new season. So they're at the end of the episode when old boy goes to the wall and you figure out, you feel me, the Starks and shit. But he's like, yeah, we didn't build a 700-foot wall to just keep out fucking wildlings.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, we have so and so amount of dragons, and they won't even go past the fucking
So they
wall.
say that in the show.
Yeah, they say that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
get this. One of the things I knew that there was cracks starting in the Game of Thrones show was whenever the dragon flew past and picked them up.
Picked them up.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So that was the episode where where he tells the guy, he's like, you got to run back to the wall and send a raven. And then he runs back to the wall, sends the raven, she flies back. That's all in the same episode.
Yeah.
You know? And the second ever episode of Game of Thrones was them traveling from the north to King's Landing. It was an entire episode
you're right.
of them traveling.
Yeah.
And then in the later season, it's like running, raven, the flyover.
Right, right.
In the books, distance, people don't know things for
months.
books. I mean, like, entire books, people are like, still talking about Ned Stark, and they don't know he's dead yet. You know, stuff like that happens in the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it takes so long for
Right.
information to get across.
Now I'm going to the fucking bookstore. I'm about to buy this shit on Amazon right now.
They're all
I'm
incredibly
gonna
good.
finish the show. I'm gonna finish the.
And here's the thing: so Feast for Crows and Dance for Dragons, the last two books are happen at the same time.
And they're two different perspectives, right?
Yeah. So Feast for Crows is everything in Westeros, and then Dance for Dragons is everything like on the other side of the ocean.
Okay.
But there's a version you can find online called Ball of Beasts or the Boiled Leather that combines the two, and it is so good.
Fuck.
Oh, is it time?
All right, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. We
Y'all
go.
got to come down here on Tuesday nights to the
We might just
motherfucking
gotta
High Tone.
I'll kill the music real quick. Or he got Lamont doing it.
We're about to do some fucking comedy, everybody.
Comedy is happening.
But guys, this was fucking fun. I didn't know I would be talking about Game of Thrones today.
Well, thanks for being
This is
here,
fucking
man.
cool,
Shout out to you, Joe.
Thank
And
you
look,
for joining us, Tommy.
We'll dismount right here. God bless you, Tommy. Appreciate your deep knowledge of the nerd shit.
Appreciate
shout out to my
y'all.
boy Joe for showing
Yeah.
up at the perfect time for the perfect episode. And as always, Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios, everybody.
I'll catch you on the flip side.